Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of Snaps, your favorite daily college football podcast. What up, AMP? Download AMP if you haven't. You catch us live here every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, around noon Central. I'm one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, joined by QB1, Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, man?
Man, I just got some pretty sweet news. Not to toot my own horn here, but I'm guessing somewhat tooting Georgia's horn. ESPN Plus most viewed game of all time, UJ versus UT Martin this past weekend, and I was on the call. So
Hell yeah, man.
I've made history. We made history. And you can make history by subscribing to this channel. We are so close to 4K, maybe at 4K when we go live with the show. So now let's get the 5K. Let's get the 5K. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're going to have a lot of fun this football season.
The road to 5K continues. We'd love to hit 5K by the end of the weekend. That'd be great. Maybe just, because the algorithm is appreciating all the work y'all are putting in. So thank you. Keep liking, keep subscribing. Aaron, it's okay to toot your own horn. I mean, I know you grew up Catholic, but I was reading an article the other day that you should be tooting your own horn like 20 to 30 times a month. So I'm proud of you. Hey, I legitimately am proud of you, though. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, on today's show, we got a few different topics we want to touch on. First off, when you look at this weekend, I'm a little. I don't like this week 2 slate. It's if you are college football nerds like we are, there's definitely a bunch of stuff to love. Like, and you can dive into it, and there's matchups there. It should still be better. Like in a day and age when everything is surrounding the television product, there should be better matchups. But still, there are some that we're going to break down. And what's interesting about this weekend is, while there's not the most ranked on ranked battles, there are some very heavy narrative battles, right?
Yep.
Battles that will determine the mental outlook and mental health of a fan base, right? Like, who has more to prove? Is it Texas or Alabama, A&M or Miami, Colorado or Nebraska? We'll get into all of that and more. Yeah, Brum in our chat saying this weekend shows where the networks took over the sport. Fair, right? Because these schools cannot be left to their own devices. Otherwise, they just schedule BS cupcakes. So we'll discuss that. We'll do some Heisman talk. Because there's a lot of Shedeur, Sanders, Trevor Hunters, Heisman hype. How realistic is that? We got some SEC power rankings coming your way after week 1. And maybe a touch of Caleb Williams at the end if we have time.
Don't back on this week. Don't forget we were stolen a really good match between Georgia and Oklahoma. Like that was supposed to be this weekend too, before the addition.
Okay, Georgia fans. If you have to remind us one more time, please. Remind us all one more time.
It's not as easy as you think it is. It was supposed to be Georgia, Oklahoma on the road this weekend. Oklahoma just put up 70 points. Like they scheduled a good team. Not their fault.
We get it. See, that's the problem. You're not even trying to actually make a point about week 2 and needing to be better. You're just finding a way to secretly get in your Georgia tried to schedule harder take.
They did.
Guess what? Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, okay? So I don't care how fucking close it got. It did not happen. Georgia's 42.5-point favorites. Tight. What a game, Aaron. What a game.
Shout out DraftKings.
Ton of fun.
Shout out DraftKings.
Shout out DraftKings. That's some exciting news as well. The volume partnering up with DraftKings. In fact, you bet $5 on NFL game this week. If you sign up for the first time, use the promo code T-Bob, TBOB, $5 gets you $200 in bonus bets instantly. Ooh. All right, let's dive in. Let's go through some of these games, Aaron, with the mindset through the lens of who has the most to prove. And we'll start with the biggest one. Again, we'll continue to break down from a more football perspective tomorrow, but Texas or Alabama, who has more to prove this weekend?
Texas does, especially them coming into the SEC next year. I think there's the thought of, are you ready to join the big boy league? Is Sark really the coach that's going to lead you into the SEC? I think last year was somewhat of a possibility based on what happened there in Austin and the close game before Quinn Ewers got hurt. It was still a close game to the very end, but obviously the season after that was kind of a roller coaster. Is Sark the guy that's going to lead Texas to being officially back, officially ready to go to play teams like Alabama and LSU and Georgia and A&M, all the big boys week in and week out, because it's a different schedule. Like the Big 12's okay. The SEC is a week in and week out grind. Is Texas ready? So I've said this before on the show. they've built this team a little bit differently than in years past, which gives me confidence of who Texas is this year. They got a really good defensive line. They got a really good front seven. They have a veteran offense line that was a little bit soft last week that needs to improve heading into this game in a big way, especially beyond the road. They got elite skill players on the outside, and they have a really good quarterback that has a pretty high ceiling. So you put that all in together, they should make this game competitive. I wouldn't be disappointed if I'm a Texas fan and you lose a close game on the road to Texas. Like if you cover the spread on the road in Tuscaloosa, I think that's a win for Texas, morally win. If you get your asses whooped, then I'm a little bit worried of what Sark is putting on the field heading into next season.
This is the weakest ass take I've ever heard. Also, you can't have a lot to prove if a close loss proves it. Like that means that you actually have a lot of leeway.
No, but
what I'm saying is that means you actually have a lot of leeway. If they can closely lose, and okay, and I kind of feel you. Like I would say Texas in this scenario, only they are a touchdown dog, and ultimately the game against Bama doesn't really determine their fate. Now, there's a lot of you like Aaron out there that have like Texas making the playoff and everything, so you have everything on the line, but I don't know that Texas
not really.
does.
If they win the Big 12, I think if you play a close game like on the road in Tuscaloosa and you still go 12-1 and win the Big 12, you're in.
Yeah, again, because that's definitely happening. So exactly. So this will not determine their fate.
It's not dead.
Okay, so even furthers my point then, that this game will not determine their fate. And so while I would love nothing more than for Texas to get, whatever, I think they're gonna lose and probably lose badly. But no, I think Bama. I think Bama, even though Bama has all the past success, but like Bama has to prove this year, or in this game at least, that everybody was right to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because if Alabama come out here and with all the new coordinators, with the new quarterbacks, with everything we talk about, all the incredible amounts of turnover, and if they beat this Texas team that has all the advantages that Aaron just talked about, all the stability, all the what's the word I'm looking for? The continuity that Alabama does not have. If they come out there and they just handle Texas, well, then all of a sudden everybody was validated in choosing Alabama. And okay, and the empire's not falling, and Nick Saban is immortal, and he can just continue to reload and do these things that people shouldn't be able to do. And so I think Alabama has more to prove here, because if Texas loses, to me, I'm like, yeah, no shit. I thought they were going to lose. So like, what changes? Now, once we get into some of these later things.
But that's your belief in Texas. That's the difference. I do think that there's a decent amount of people who do think that Texas is playoff contenders, and this is a big test for them. Like, we know Alabama ain't going anywhere. Like, listen, Alabama's not Clemson. You know, everyone and their mother has been crapping on Clemson this week, including us. And like, is the dynasty over? If Alabama loses this game, the dynasty is not done. Like, Alabama will be back in the conversation next year. I do think that there is a sense of urgency for Texas to make this year special. And you have to make this year special, because if you can't win with this roster in the Big 12 and be competitive versus Alabama in this football game, what gives anyone in the world any confidence that Sark can do it next year? So there's way more pressure on Texas this year than Alabama.
There you go, Texas fans. Aaron setting a high bar. Lose the game close.
Just close.
Must be so hard. What a winning attitude.
Just cover the spread. I just want to win some money this week.
Oh my God, dude. That is
some money.
If
If Texas loses by 3 points, and say it's a game like it was last year, how do you walk away feeling about Texas as a brand?
The same as I feel now. The same as I feel now. Like, Sark's not that guy. Wow. Like, what do you mean? Why is a 3-point loss encouraging? Like, maybe if it was against last year's Alabama,
Bryce Young on the road.
Okay, and last year it was against Bryce Young and Will Anderson.
Like, you're trying to set the bar like, Sark, you have to be Saban. Like, no, there's only one Saban.
I told Sark win 10 games. I literally have the lowest bar of any of the Sark detractors. I gave him 10 games with a bowl game. I'm allowing for a 9-3 Texas regular season. Okay, so don't accuse me of setting the bar too high. I'm just saying it's pretty fucking weak when the whole thing is like, well, if they lose close, that's good. Miss me with that bullshit. If you're supposed to be a championship level team, you have to win the game. All right, Texas A&M or Miami? the battle of the
More of a team.
bads, the SEC Thunderdome. It's kind of like that plane full of diarrhea. Two
Yeah.
bad teams enter, one team comes out. What do you think? Who has more pressure on them?
Jimbo does. Jimbo has significantly more pressure. This is still in Mario's second year, and I know you hate Mario and don't believe in what he's done in his career, but it's only year 2 at Miami. I think Jimbo has a lot of pressure on him to win this year, as he always does, because there's a lot more money flowing through the program at A&M than even a crooked Miami's the money flowing through there. So A&M is they've built this roster over the past few years. They have a better roster than Miami does.
Yeah.
You bring in a new OC.
Mm-hmm.
This is a must-win game for A&M.
Yeah, I agree they have more pressure, and I think they're going to. But look, the expectations are higher for an A&M this year. They are someone that has the potential maybe to be borderline New Year's Six, or maybe to kind of pick them, finish third in the West.
Playoff team.
No, okay. Let's pump the brakes there again until we see a little more consistency. Even though I guess in your book you just don't have to prove anything. Christopher's great. Jimbo's great.
So I never said Christopher's great, and I've never said Jimbo is great. I like the A&M football team this year because they have the first time in 3 years they actually have a quarterback.
Yeah, and Wegman looked really good. And if I was an A&M fan, I would be feeling really good coming out last game. But it's clearly A&M because they have the higher expectation level. They beat Miami last year when both teams were bad, right? And so in a year where you're looking to take a step forward, nobody wants to regress. And a loss to Miami would be just that. It would be a very distinct and clear regression. They put so much resources into this. But Miami's going to be feeling a little weird, though. And maybe our SC bias is showing, but like Miami's going to be looking around right now, and they, too, have put a ton of resources into the program. They've tried to juice things up here recently, and the ACC is as exciting as it's been in a while, only it has nothing to do with Miami. Right? Like there's a legitimate championship contender, but that's Florida State. Yep. There's a couple of teams that already have dominant top 10 wins, but that's Duke. There's UNC making a statement against the SEC. Miami, nowhere to be found. So Miami has a golden opportunity to join the party and to announce themselves, say, hold on now, there's another ACC team you should be talking about. I just don't think that they will. I think Texas A&M is going to smash it.
You know what's another interesting team I guess what you brought up kind of made me think about this. I think the SEC has some pressure on it this weekend. I mean, because we talked all about the Pac-12 last weekend. We talked about the success of the ACC. The SEC was 0-3 in top 25 games this past weekend. Say somehow both underdogs heading into the game. I think A&M's a 4.5-point favorite. I think Alabama's right around 7.5-point favorite right now.
And for whatever it's worth, Ole Miss in the only other ranked-unranked matchup is a favorite going into Tulane.
If two of those three teams lose, what's the narrative of the SEC? Is the SEC under some pressure after week 1 to live up to the expectations that they're the big dogs, or does it still not matter because you're probably going to get one, if not two teams in the playoffs at the end of the day?
It matters to those who are willing to engage in nuance, but ultimately, if you still have your like Georgia national champion or whatever at the end of the year, then everybody's going to parrot that, and sure the bowl record will end up being good. But I mean, it would be like if you love talking about college football and love listening to it, which this show would, then I think there's a legitimate case to be made there. So yeah, the SEC under a sneaky amount of pressure in a couple of ranked games, and then the bad bowl that is A&M or Miami.
How would you rate those three in order of most believable could lose to least believable could lose?
Well, I really feel strongly about A&M against Miami. I feel like Alabama. The only thing is I'm thinking about Ole Miss, and like after last year's Ole Miss, I don't know what the fuck to think, because last year's Ole Miss, you saw a team that I fully bought into at 7-0 that just completely fell apart. They're going to be going into Yeoman. I feel like they should. I feel like they should cover against Tulane. Like I feel like Lane. I feel like Lane is going to have that team ready to go. Jackson Dart's significantly better than he was last year. So most realistic upset, I would probably say, is Texas. Sure.
Yep.
Go to the big noon kickoff, Aaron. Colorado or Nebraska. Obviously, Nebraska week 1. Matt Rule almost had the win against Minnesota, blowed in the exact same way that Nebraska always does. Whereas Colorado comes out and immediately changes the narrative. So both teams had similar week 1 goals. And now both teams enter the national stage for Fox's Ben New kickoff. Who has more pressure?
Oh, it's Colorado, 100%. I think Colorado is more. If I had a rank of just teams in general who have the most pressure on them this weekend, I would probably say it's Colorado.
Yeah.
Because now there is an expectation. Like, I still don't think that there's a massive expectation for Nebraska. Like, we all can make excuses left and right that Matt Rule, it's going to be year 2 when we see a massive difference in this Nebraska team. And yeah, it may be different because Nebraska is better than Temple and Baylor. And, but still, like, I'll give him a year because we've seen what year 2 looks like for a Matt Rule football team.
True.
I think Colorado has flipped the script. There is massive expectations for this team now. I mean, the tickets, the ticket to get in the stadium is over $400.
I know.
I mean, they are the talk of college football right now. All eyes are on them. And now people think you can actually win. Like, no one thought you could win last week. I don't think there's anyone who put any sort of bet on a money line for Colorado. If you did, congratulations. Send me that ticket. I want to see it.
This summer, Nebraska opened as double-digit favorites over Colorado. To give you an idea of how much things could change. What's interesting, and it's absolutely Colorado, you're right. It's not even particularly close. This is a golden opportunity game for Nebraska, right? Like the opportunity to all of a sudden get a ton of credit and a ton of love for Nebraska is now there because no one expects them to win. But the thing about Colorado that fascinates me is just how immediately and how high the stakes have immediately been raised, right? And you look at Deion, and he's always been a bit of a lightning rod. It was throughout the offseason. It continued now into the season. In fact, after that post-game presser, I would say it's bigger than ever. I mean, he Colorado, in a weird way, because this world that we live in wants to do this with all things. Colorado is firmly planted in the culture war right now. And there are a lot of people who don't even give a fuck about college football that for some unknown, stupid-ass reason have formed an opinion where they just want to see this team fail miserably. And the other thing you're seeing is the internet works in a funny way, Aaron, whenever it really loves something, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So there has to be a counter take. So there's been so many positive Colorado takes that now the takes are starting to come in where, we've gone a bit too far. Haven't we? Like, everybody's bringing it right. They can't be that good. I mean, it's one game. It's TCU. TCU's defense is awful. This, that, the other thing. So there is as big of a rubber. You remember those old rubber band guns from when you were a kid? Did you ever have those? There is a rubber band 50 cal staring Colorado down the face right now. Like, if they lose this game, the amount of people that are going to come out of the woodwork to just, like, people are frothing at the mouth to shit on Prime in Colorado. And make no mistake, I believe Prime is fully cognizant of this. And if I was a coach, I would be using this to my advantage. Like, fuck saying like, everybody thinks you're going to lose. Everybody thinks you lose. No. Everybody wants you to lose. Are you going to lose focus? Are you going to stop doing the things that got us here in the first place? Like, are you going to get lax when a loss by you means that they win, that the people that want to see you fail win? Fuck those motherfuckers. That's what I do.
You know what's crazy? For the entire offseason, it was, if they won one of these 2 games, that would be amazing. That was it. I was like, we were just like, could they just win one of these 2 games? And that would be a hell of a start. And all of a sudden you win the first one, and it'd be almost a failure if you lose to Nebraska at this point. It's been literally a week ago. We're like, can they just win one of these 2 games? And that would be a hell of a start for Prime, because you look at week 3, you play Colorado State at home, you probably win that one. If you start off 2-1, man, you have a chance to cover the win-loss total for the year, which was 4.5.
Yeah.
But since you overachieved in week 1, that bar has been set astronomically higher, and if you don't win, people are going to be ready to rip you. It's crazy.
And it's interesting because I think context matters here, right? And it should matter. Like, how a team looks should inform all of these opinions. So when I see Shedeur Sanders, and I know we keep talking about, but he looks like a sustainable great quarterback, right? Like, not like fluky, not like like last year JJ McCarthy against Ohio State. Great performance. Hard to say it felt sustainable at the time. That's not a commentary on McCarthy this year. I'm just using a game where I think of a quarterback that had like huge plays, big stats, but it was arguably kind of fluky feeling, right? I did not see that Saturday. So it's how Colorado won that has done this. And then it's Deion's brash attitude that has really just loaded up even more tension on that rubber band. So golden opportunity for the Corn Hub, but I just don't see how Jeff Sims and company keeps pace.
Yeah.
But
we'll break that game down some more tomorrow, but I'm with you. High expectations for Deion.
Finally, one of the other sneaky good matchups of the weekend, and one of these teams, it's not really a question of which one is more here because it's only one, but it's Notre Dame and NC State.
Yeah.
Where we have, rubber band effect. We've been crowning Notre Dame a bit here, especially on this show. They look damn strong. Sam Hartman looks like he fixed any offensive questions that they have. We know Marcus Freeman's going to get the most out of out of the defense up there. So all of a sudden you have a Notre Dame team that's looking very complete. People always kind of want Notre Dame to be good. It's sort of like a Norman, that Norman Rockwell effect for college football that I'm always talking about. So we've already kind of crowned Notre Dame in a lot of ways. And this is going to be their first true, kind of semi-test here. Not to say that Navy wasn't what it was, but NC State's okay. So let's see if they go out there, just handle business and take care of a la Penn State, West Virginia, or something along those lines. And all of a sudden, all that hype is justified. Whereas if they don't, they too are going to have to deal with some rubber banding.
Yeah. And every game is important for Notre Dame, as we know. Without a conference championship game, you have very small margins. And I think they'll win 2 of the 3 big ones based on what we've seen early on this season, but that means you have to win the rest of them. You can't lose any more. So it is a big first test for them. So I would say a decent amount of pressure, but you talk about the quarterback position. Sam Hartman's played a lot of football. I mean, and he just looks like nothing phases him at all. So I don't think he'll feel the pressure. I don't think Freeman will feel. I don't think that team feels the pressure, but I would say from an outside perspective, the narrative should be Notre Dame must win this football game. And if they do, they take care of business, I think that only, for me, gives me confidence in my take of this team is going to be 11-1, 12-0, and will be one of the Final Four teams when it's all said and done.
Week 4 is going to be the first great weekend in college football that we get.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, after all this discussion, it's Colorado, right?
Yep. Definitely
nobody,
Colorado.
not A&M, not Alabama, which is, again, it just speaks to Prime's larger than life effect because there's no way that it should be, but it actually is Colorado over A&M, over Miami, over Nebraska, Texas, Alabama, over these freaking blue bloods of the sport. Nobody has more pressure than Colorado. Speaking of the Buffs, there's been a lot of Heisman talk for Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, right? And we wanted to explore the question of how realistic do you think this actually is? Look, to me, this is I feel bad because maybe I should have something with more heat on it here, but okay, their chances are as realistic as anyone else's, right? But no more than anyone else's. Like we mentioned, Sam Hartman, his candidacy remains very strong. If he has a playoff Notre Dame team, are you kidding me? You can't ignore Caleb Williams, Blake Corum's still out there. Yep. And at the end of the day, as much as I love Prime in Colorado, Aaron, it is going to be very tough for them to keep pace in terms of wins with some of these other teams. Unless they're a true Pac-12 contender, which, like we said, we'll put them above the middle tier right now, but I can't quite feel about them the same way that I feel about USC, Oregon, Washington, and Utah.
See, I think Shedeur is I don't think he has a legitimate chance. I wouldn't put money on him to win it.
No.
Just because there's so many good quarterbacks in that league. And then when you start getting the matchups against Oregon and USC, if those quarterbacks duel you and they win, it's kind of like, okay, well,
you're done.
Player. Travis is a different beast because if he's going to be on the field so much, the only question is it sustainable for him to play 120, 140 snaps a game for 12 weeks? If he does that and puts up crazy stats as a receiver and has 7 interceptions, then I don't care what Colorado's record is. He'll be in the discussion for best player in the country, and he'll be in the discussion for the Heisman Trophy. I wouldn't mind putting a little money on him just because how many players have we seen play both ways at that high of a level? We just don't see it.
Yeah, so it's the Ohtani effect.
He can overcome the stigma of I'm on a bad team because we truly know no one has really done what he's done.
Well, and I believe, I don't follow a ton of baseball, but who won AL MVP last year despite being on an awful fucking team and may win it again this year? Shohei Ohtani, right? Because he does shit that we've never seen before. So that's a great point. Travis Hunter actually does have a bit of an inside track where he could overcome one of the greatest hurdles, which is just how many games did you win? And look, Caleb Williams already winning last year just hurt him. I still think Sam Hartman remains very strong as long as Notre Dame wins. I think the schedule's going to hurt Blake Corum because Michigan's just not going to have a lot of times when everybody's watching them. Like the only time we're going to tune in is Michigan, Ohio State,
and they dominate Ohio State. I think that will be enough. And he has enough name recognition. You remember he was in the thick of it last year. It's like people know Blake Corum's name. They a lot of people won the vote for him last year before the injury happened. So I think that helps him. But once again, like when Colorado, let me pull up their schedule real quick.
Michael Penix Jr., baby, let's go.
That's what I'm saying. Like when they face them, and if Michael Penix has a better game than he does and they win, I think that knocks him out right there, then and there.
I guess the flip side is, what if Travis Hunter just starts like stacking picks against all these great quarterbacks?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what if Travis Hunter has some incredible year where like he picks
Washington
off
actually doesn't play Colorado.
Caleb Williams and that's a bummer. It's a bummer. I was just saying Michael Penix for a Heisman candidate that he has to be
no, I know
as well.
Yeah, but I think Bo Nix is going to be. I mean, all those quarterbacks right now are Heisman candidates.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that Bo Nix isn't.
Shit.
Obviously.
Uiagalelei. I mean,
DJ,
if we're just being objective after week one, like you got to give everybody who played awesome their love. And DJU is the highest graded quarterback in the entire country, according to PFF. So quarterback play in the Pac-12 remains awesome. And ironically, maybe that is where Travis Hunter's greatest chance lies. On top of the Ohtani thing, what if he just like has a big moment against a couple of these names? This stuff that sticks out in voters' minds. But again, let's not get too crazy with it. Like, objectively give credit for week one performances, but like this Heisman race is going to shift every single weekend, drastically every single weekend, and guys are going to rise and fall, and somebody could still come out of nowhere. Aaron, you ready to do our SEC power rankings?
Let's go. Come on.
All
same way as yesterday. We just kind of debate as we go, right?
Yeah, I think so. Are we going to update these weekly? Is that the plan here?
Yeah, it's the best conference. We'll do our top
maybe.
Yeah, maybe after this weekend we might have to shift to the Pac-12 or ACC, maybe.
ACC.
Yeah, I say we'll do our normal top 10 every week as that shifts and moves, and then we'll do our SEC rankings.
Okay. Number one, I was very sorely tempted to put Alabama number one, but we'll kind of keep our logic from yesterday. UGA, sure. Preseason, we probably would have put LSU 2. Obviously not the case. No. Alabama 2. Tennessee 3.
No, I had A&M at 3. I was more impressed with
Can y'all in the podcast hear me squeezing the bridge of my nose between my thumb and my forefinger in unreal disappointment? As Aaron just acts like putting Alabama at 1 is ridiculous, and then lets a 52-10 win over New Mexico jump A&M above Tennessee.
So we're going to let one good season for Tennessee kind of make us feel like they're just going to roll it into another great season with a new quarterback.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Instead of one fucking shitty season for A&M, rolling into a good season with like, what are you talking about?
I have more faith in Connor Wegman than I do Joe Milton heading going forward based on what I saw in week 1.
I'll put A&M.
Who is a better defense? A&M is a better defense. A&M is a better defense. A&M is a better quarterback. A&M has better receivers. A&M has a better offensive line.
A&M's defense looked pretty shitty against New Mexico, actually. Like they did not look. They got pushed around at times. They did not look great early on. The offense looked awesome.
Overall, they will have the better defense when it's all said and done.
You want me to put my name on a list that has Texas A&M?
I have Tennessee at 6.
Okay, give me your top 6 in.
Okay, I'll give you my top 6. Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M. I still like LSU at 4.
Yeah.
Ole Miss at 5. Tennessee at 6.
So we're not that different. We both have LSU at 4. Only I got Tennessee, LSU, A&M, Ole Miss.
All right, so we have the same top 6, just in a little bit different order.
Yeah. So how do we solve this, though? I don't think A&M should be 3.
Brum, do we need to bring in a third party to solve the problem here?
I'm voting Tennessee over Texas A&M.
Thank you.
Until until we see
until they fucking
Jimbo
win this
Bobby.
weekend. If they beat Miami this weekend, what does that do? If they beat Miami this weekend, does that jump them over Tennessee?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if they look good and do it, yeah, because who does Tennessee play this weekend?
If it's another 17-14 slobber knocker like last year, then maybe not.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee plays Austin Peay. So, sure, yeah, absolutely. Opportunity for A&M. So, we'll go UGA, Alabama, Tennessee, and then do you want to go A&M next? Or are you still going LSU at 4?
I want to go A&M next and then LSU.
Okay, whatever. A&M, then LSU. Man, New Mexico really impressed you, huh? Tough game. Those Lobos.
Yeah,
but I forget, I mean, being a Georgia guy, you're not used to seeing like competitive Power 5 games. So
you have to really work hard to kind of really judge a team when you play.
Yeah, you got to dive into that film.
Yeah.
Dive into that Quinn Ewers film and convince yourself it was awesome. All right, so A&M 4, LSU 5, Ole Miss 6.
Yes. Kentucky
it would
7.
It would feel a little too reactive to put Ole Miss ahead of LSU. So okay, we can do that. Yeah, I got Kentucky 7, and then I got Auburn 8.
Ooh.
Who do you have?
Arkansas. I got Arkansas at 8.
Okay, I mean Arkansas did look really good this weekend. Except for, did you see Sam Pittman's boobs?
No,
more like Sam Titman. Brum, go
do we
to
need
Twitter.
To bring your picture back out before you start calling Sam Titman? Do we need?
I actually think this is a bit like, how like groups that are ostracized can, like if you call them like a bad word, like those groups are allowed to use those words because like, like since I have titties, I can call out titties. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those deals. Like it's like linemen are calling each other fat all the time, but it's never a term of like actual insult. It's just love.
Yeah, I can't call you fat, but
because I had my own memories exposed at a spring game in a group picture. I can call out Sam Pittman's picture with the Huckabees, in which he's got some dangs on him, bro. It's some Joy Taylor level things. We talking like Robert Paulson from Fight Club level things. Wait till you see these things there.
Do not clip this. I do not want this to go viral, please.
Your biggest problem.
I like Sam Pittman.
I love Sam Pittman. Your biggest problem is going to be not getting turned on, though. I know you. You're a randy bastard. You're going to see this, and we're
going to be in a coach's meeting with Sam Pittman when I have their game this year.
Oh my God, you're going to be just staring at his boobs the whole time. Hey, he's gonna be like, "Hey, yes, sir. My eyes are up here.
Yes, sir. Eyes up here, Murray." All right, can we go Arkansas at 8? Can we go Arkansas at 8?
I got no problem. Arkansas 8, and then who are you going 9 then?
All right, so I'll give you my next
Auburn
2.
Or Mizzou?
I have Missouri at 9.
You were really impressed with Mizzou the other day.
I was very impressed with Missouri live.
Okay. Is this a bias because you studied them so much live?
No, I think they're a better team than Auburn was last year. I know Auburn hit the pole.
Yeah, they should have beat them last year. That's true.
Yeah, they fucking just shit the bed last year. I mean, my God, did they shit the bed.
But also that's pride Auburn.
I actually had Mississippi State ahead of Auburn too, but I'll give you Auburn at a Mississippi State if you want.
There's just something about No, I still, as much as I kind of like the 2 quarterback system, maybe I'm getting a little too caught up in just this idea that like maybe I'm just a little too turned on that Auburn's doing this weird old school 2 quarterback thing because like I'll still take Phil Rogers.
Robbie Ashford looked pretty damn good running the football.
Robbie Ashford.
Yeah, but time out. You obviously didn't watch Mississippi State. They were running a 2 quarterback system as well. So Mike Wright was running the football.
Wait, so they did? So Mike Wright did actually end up playing?
Yeah, he ran for a ton of yards. They pulled the stats right now, but he came in there and they're playing some scrub, for goodness sake.
They're playing Southeastern from Louisiana. I forgot about that.
But and you're getting all horny for a two quarterback system.
No. I'm putting Auburn back. Auburn 10, Mississippi
State.
Mike
ran for 95 yards on 5 carries.
Yeah, that's that. I don't care. I think it should go
play.
8 Arkansas.
Massachusetts, who according to Tom Luganville is the worst roster in college football.
That's true. FBS versus FCS. All right. So do you feel that passionately about it? You want Mississippi State over Auburn?
No. I'll give you. I
can hear Brum grinding his teeth as we waste time talking about the bottom tier of the SEC. Okay. So we'll go Auburn 10, Mississippi State 11. I got South Carolina 12.
South Carolina, Vandy, Florida.
Okay, Vandy ahead of Florida. Yeah,
They're undefeated, man.
Fuck him. I agree. Fuck him. Sorry. God, you know what sucks too is that like you said, I like Coach Napier, right? I mean, I like him. He used to come on the show and everything back then at UL. But
I love LSU fans a week ago are like, see, this is why we didn't fucking hire Billy Napier. And then all of a sudden this week, we fucking hate Brian Kelly. He sucked. It's like,
yeah, I wish we had Coach Prime, That's how week one works. I will say this though, you know how every now and then, Aaron, and I think we learned a lot of this around like the 2016 election time, which is how brutal a nickname can be and how hard they can be to escape. And Sunbelt Billy is one of the all-time most demeaning nicknames that I could possibly think of. And that's what everybody's calling him, Sunbelt Billy. And it's just going to be impossible for Billy Napier to break that. Because I don't think Florida's any good this year, and I think they're going to continue to struggle. So there it is. Georgia won.
That's going to be his shark photo for sure.
Right? Yes, like that's his shark. Thank you, Brum. Exactly. Like you cannot escape the power of Sunbelt Billy. This makes you sound like a child that's in over his head. Georgia 1, Alabama 2, Tennessee 3, A&M 4, LSU 5, Ole Miss 6, Kentucky 7, Arkansas 8, Mizzou 9, Auburn 10, Mississippi State 11, South Carolina 12, 13 Vandy, and 14 the Florida Gators. Wow. That is your first. Should South Carolina be above Auburn and Mississippi State? This is a good UNC team. No? Okay. There it is, your SEC Power Rankings. There it is, another episode of Snaps. Again, y'all, want to try to hit 5K by this weekend, youtube.com/@volumesnaps. Also, wherever you get podcasts, just Google Snaps Podcast, Apple, Spotify. It's all there for you. Rate it, review it. If you hit the like button, subscribe. That's how you help out the show. Thank you. We got a ton of great new sponsors coming on, man. Shout out to Kovas. I love these boots. Check it out.
Woo, I gotta go to the store.
Boots be popping with the Lulu pants, son. Been wearing them a lot. I look like an adult for the first time in my life. Shout out DraftKings. Very excited to be partnered up there. We're going to give you some bets throughout the week. The bottom line is a lot of positive momentum, and it's all thanks to everybody who listens. So a massive, massive thank you to everyone out there. Also a massive thank you to Pat Gunther, Ryan Brumley, Danny Cardenas, Christian Hunter, Adam Gracia, Chris Tran as well. Everybody here helping out with the show, doing such incredible grindy work on YouTube as all me and Aaron do is spout stupid ass shit into microphones. So thank you to everybody who dresses it up and makes it actually look good and watchable for people to want to. And shout out AMP. Download AMP. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of Snaps.